Somewhere along the path of life, many of us begin to wonder, is this it? We chase success, approval, and comfort, yet still feel a quiet ache, as though we're living just outside our own lives. But here's something I've learned, not from textbooks, but through heartbreak, through mistakes, and through long walks alone in the early morning hours. Life isn't something to conquer, it's something to understand, to experience as a sacred game. And how you play, that changes everything. If you've ever felt lost, tired, stuck, or just a little numb, today I want to speak directly to you. Not with grand ideas or loud motivation, but with something far more powerful: clarity. Because while life doesn't come with a manual, it does leave subtle clues, whispers in the stillness, patterns hidden in the pauses. And when you learn to listen, you begin to recognize something deeper. Principles not imposed by others, but revealed within you. These aren't rules to restrict you, they're invitations to breathe easier, walk lighter, and feel at home in your own soul. Today I want to share 5 of these guiding rules, principles that help me navigate seasons of confusion and return to what truly matters. I don't offer them as answers, but as mirrors to help you reflect on where you are and where you're going. Take a breath with me, slow down. Experience as a sacred This isn't a lesson in how you play. Remembering. And if you listen with an open heart, you might walk away seeing life a little differently than you did before. Rule 1, don't compare yourself to others. Reflect on who you were yesterday. We live in a world that constantly urges us to scroll faster, achieve more, look better, and become someone else. Social media bombards us with curated glimpses of lives that seem brighter and more successful than our own. But the truth is, what you see on the surface is never the whole story. What matters most is happening within. Comparison is a thief, not just of joy, but of focus, of peace. It distracts us from the one person we are truly responsible for becoming, ourselves. So instead of asking, why am I not like them? Ask, how am I growing beyond who I was yesterday? That's the real journey, not toward perfection or applause, but toward progress. One honest moment, one step forward, one lesson carried into a new day. Here's something I do that helps me stay grounded. At the end of each day, I write a W or an L in the corner of my journal. W for win, not because the day was flawless, but because I showed up as my best self given the day's challenges. L for learn, because on the days I stumble, drift, or forget, there's still wisdom to be found. But I hold one rule for myself: never 2 L's in a row. If today is a learn, then tomorrow becomes my commitment to stand up and try again. Because when you stop comparing and start reflecting, something shifts. You begin to see your own evolution, to celebrate the small things, like pausing before reacting, choosing a healthier response, or being kinder to yourself and others. Growth isn't loud, it isn't flashy. Often it's invisible to the outside world, but you feel it. And in time, those small shifts shape a life you're proud to live. So tonight, instead of measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, ask yourself a quiet, sacred question. Did I do my best with what I had today? If yes, mark a win. If no, mark a learn, and let tomorrow be your next step forward. That's the first rule, not to win against others, but to walk in step with who you're becoming. Rule 2, decide who you want to be, and be it now. So many of us wait. We wait for the perfect moment, the ideal conditions, for more healing, more success, more proof. We whisper, one day, I'll become who I'm meant to be. But the truth is, you don't become that person by accident. You become them by choice. You don't need life's permission. You can begin now, this very moment, by stepping into the identity of your highest self. I call this the superhero principle. Think back to childhood. When you put on a costume, you didn't pretend. You transformed. You stood taller, spoke bolder, believed more. That wasn't fantasy. It was potential realized through identity. In my own life, I've chosen 3 archetypes to embody each day: the warrior for my health, the architect for my work, and the guardian for my relationships. Each morning I ask myself, how would the warrior train today? How would the architect solve today's challenge? How would the guardian care for the people he loves? It's not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about living in alignment with your deeper truth, beneath the noise, the fear, and the doubt. So I ask you now, not years from now, not when life calms down, who do you want to be right now? Give that version of yourself a name, a vision, a voice. Then act as if you already are that person. Because when identity shifts, choices follow, and so does your life. Don't wait for confidence to arrive or for someone to validate your worth. Decide, step forward, become. Because life isn't about someday, it's about this day. So tell me, who are you choosing to be today? Rule 3, take action, show up for yourself. There's a quiet illusion we all fall into, confusing knowledge with growth. We read, we listen, we plan. But unless we act, knowledge remains potential, unlived, unrealized. I used to think deep understanding would naturally lead to change, but I've learned. Change begins not when we know what to do, but when we do what we know. It's easy to get stuck in preparation mode, convincing ourselves we need more time or clarity. But action doesn't wait for perfect timing. Living in alignment generates momentum, and momentum leads to transformation. One practice changed everything for me. Each night, I write down the 3 most important things I need to do tomorrow. Not 10, just 3. Then I schedule them as appointments with myself. And I treat those appointments with the same respect I'd give to someone else. Because for too long, I kept promises to others, but broke the ones I made to myself. Why are we so quick to cancel on ourselves? You wouldn't no-show a friend. You wouldn't blow off your boss. So why disregard your own sacred time? You matter. Your goals matter. Your time matters. Taking action isn't about endless hustle. It's about clarity, consistency, and care. When you act with intention, even in small focused doses, you tell yourself something powerful. I am worthy of progress. I am worthy of the life I imagine. So today, before life sweeps you into distraction, pause, pick your 3, put them on your calendar, and most of all, show up. Because each intentional action is more than productivity, it's self-respect in motion. Rule 4, level up your network. Choose connection with care. There's an old proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But I'd add, go together with people who lift you, not weigh you down. We don't always realize it, but the people we spend time with shape our energy, our mindset, and our sense of possibility. They influence how we speak, think, and see ourselves. We aren't meant to walk alone, but we are meant to choose our companions wisely. So take stock of your circle. After a conversation, do you feel more alive or more depleted, uplifted or uncertain? Not all company is nourishment. Some feed your soul like sun and water. Others deplete you silently, like creeping shadows. I once had a friend who saw everything through fear. And before I noticed, I began seeing life through that lens too. Doubting myself, questioning my path, shrinking my vision. One day I asked, is this connection helping me grow or just keeping me stuck? It was a hard truth, but one I needed to face. Elevating your life often requires making space. Space for those who believe in your dreams, challenge your limits, and hold you with grace. You don't need many, just a few kindred souls who remind you who you are when you forget. Seek energy, not just entertainment. Seek depth, not just distraction. Respect, not just proximity. And if you haven't found them yet, become that kind of person. You'll attract the ones who are doing the same. You are worthy of connections that light you up. Choose with care. Your future will thank you. Rule 5, smile, laugh, and have a good time. Life happens in the moments between. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you laughed so hard it hurt? When joy spilled over, unplanned and pure? We often get caught in the chase. Goals, deadlines, demands, telling ourselves we'll rest later. We'll smile when it's all done. But life doesn't wait. The magic isn't in the milestones. It's in the moments between. One of my favorite memories, a simple dinner at home, leftovers, laughter. Someone told a joke we'd heard 100 times, but we laughed. Deep, healing laughter that lingered. And in that moment, I thought, This is what matters. Not the success, not the schedule, just presence, just joy. So make space for laughter, for silliness, for moments that make no sense but mean everything. Smile at strangers, dance in the kitchen. Let yourself be ridiculous. Because these aren't distractions from life. They are life. When you laugh, you return to your essence. When you smile, you soften the world. Don't wait for joy at the end of the climb. Learn to dance on the way up. Because joy isn't the reward for arriving. It's the fuel that gets you there. These are the rules I live by. Not to impress, not to win, but to live fully, intentionally, joyfully. So tell me, which rule spoke to you today? Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe if you'd like more stories like this. Life wasn't meant to be walked alone. Let's walk it together.